This tutorial explains how to calculate the median value of a data object in the R programming language. So without too much talk, let's dive into the R code. In the first example of this tutorial, I will show you how to apply the median function to a vector object. And for this, we first need to create some example data that we can use in the later example. And we can do that, as you can see, in line 2 of the code. So if you run this line of code, you can see at the top right of RStudio that a new data object is appearing, which is called x1. And this data object is numeric and contains 8 different numeric values. Now let's assume that we want to calculate the median value of this data object. Then we can apply the median function, as you can see in line 4. And in this line of code, I'm applying this function to our data object x1. So if you run this line of code, you can see at the bottom of the RStudio console that the value 5.5 is returned, and this is the median value of our data object x1. So in this first example, I have explained how to apply the median function to a very basic vector object in the R programming language. However, sometimes you have to deal with NA values, or in other words, missing values in your data. And this is what I want to show you in the second example, starting in line 6 of the code. So in this line of code, I'm creating another data object, which is called x2. And after running this line of code, you can see this data object at the top right. And as you can see, this data object contains exactly the same numeric values as our first data object x1. However, this time, this data object also contains an NA value. And if we now apply the median function to this data object, you can see at the bottom that the value NA is returned. So in other words, the median function was not able to return the median value of our data object. However, fortunately, the median function provides the na.remove argument, as you can see in line 10 of the code. And if we specify this argument to be equal to true, then the median function automatically removes all the NA values from our data. So if you run line 10 of the code, you can see that the value 5.5 is returned once again to the RStudio console. So this time we were able to calculate the median value of the data object x2. So in the first two examples, I have explained how to apply the median function to a vector object. However, it's also possible to apply the median function to a data frame column. And this is what I want to show you in the next example, starting in line 12 of the code. So in line 12, I'm first loading some example data using the data function. So if you run this line of code, you can see at the top right of RStudio that a new data set is appearing, which is called iris. And we can have a look at the first 6 rows of this data set by running line 13 of the code. So if you run this line of code, you can see at the bottom in the RStudio console that our data set contains 5 columns, and the first 4 columns of this data frame are numeric. Now let's assume that we want to calculate the median value of the column Sepal.Length. Then we can apply the median function, as you can see in line 15. And in this line of code, I'm specifying within the median function that I want to use our data frame iris. And then I'm using the dollar operator to extract the values of the column Sepal.Length. So if you run line 15 of the code, you can see at the bottom that the value 5.8 is returned. And this value is the median value of our column Sepal.Length in the data frame iris. So in the previous example, I have explained how to apply the median function to an entire data frame column. However, it's also possible to calculate the median by certain subgroups. And this is what I want to show you in the next example in lines 17 to 19 of the code. So in these lines of code, I'm using the aggregate function to calculate the median by the groups in the column species. And I want to calculate the median within each group for the column Sepal.Length. So if you run lines 17 to 19 of the code, you can see at the bottom in the RStudio console that a new data set with 2 columns is returned. And the first column shows the different groups in our data. So in our data, we have the species groups Setosa, Versicolor, and Virginica. And on the right side of the data set, in the X column, you can see the median of each of these groups. So you can see, for instance, that the Virginica group has a larger median than the Setosa group. Another very useful application of the median function is in graphics. And this is what I want to show you in the next two examples. And for this, we first need to create another vector object, as you can see in lines 21 and 22 of the code. So if you run these lines of code, you can see at the top right of RStudio that another data object is appearing, which is called x3. And this vector object contains 1000 different values. Now let's assume that we want to draw these values in a boxplot. Then we can apply the boxplot function, as you can see in line 24. So if you run this line of code, you can see at the bottom right of RStudio that a new boxplot is appearing. And then in the next step, in lines 25 to 27 of the code, we can add the median value and a text label for this value to our plot. So if you run these lines of code, you can see at the bottom right that a text label is added on top of our plot. We can enlarge our plot to show this a little bit better. And now you can see that we have added the text median of x3 on top of the median line of our boxplot. Another very useful application of the median is in histograms. So if we want to draw a histogram in the R programming language, we can apply the hist function, as you can see in line 29. So if you run this line of code, you can see at the bottom right of RStudio that a new histogram has been drawn of our data object x3. And then in the next step, we can add a red vertical line to this plot at the position of our median. So if you run lines 30 to 32 of the code, you can see at the bottom right of RStudio that a red line has been added at the value 3, because this is the median of our data. And then in the next step, we can also add a text label to this plot by using the text function once again, as you can see in lines 33 to 35. So if you run these lines of code, you can see at the bottom right that the text median of x3 has been added in red color to show that this text corresponds to the median line that we have drawn before. That's all I wanted to explain in this video. In case you want to learn more on this topic, you may check out my homepage, statisticsglobe.com, because on my homepage I have recently published a tutorial in which I'm explaining the content of this video in some more detail. I will put a link to this tutorial into the description of the video, so you can find it there. If you have liked this video, or if you have any questions, let me know in the comments section below. I'll try to respond to all comments as soon as I can. Furthermore, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to get notified about future video releases. I have already published about 500 videos on this channel, and I'm releasing new videos on a daily basis. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next video.